the grappling might have gone down a little bit. That's why you see guys like Merab and Islam so dominant, because their jiu-jitsu is so good. I think the UFC so heavily pushes striking that sometimes guys don't properly develop their like jiu-jitsu and wrestling skills. So you get guys just trying to trade punches. So sometimes their weakness is take them down, which is my specialty. So I think, in some sense, I think I would do really good today just because a lot of these guys aren't as good at grapplers.
Do you remember the first moment you realized that you wanted to be an MMA fighter?
Yeah, I do. I was a wrestler. You know, I saw Chuck Liddell. I thought he looked kind of funny with his mohawk and shit. Campo tattoos. I knew a wrestling coach knew him. So I went into his gym, wanted to spar him. And he just like, I thought I was gonna fuck him up. And he just like beat the shit out of me. So we were like laying there being like, fuck, dude, I wanna learn this and fight. It's a weird way to get addicted by getting my ass beat.
I was gonna
sitting
say,
there being like, oh, I'm gonna be good at that. And after that, I'm like, I asked Chuck, like, will you train me? He's like, no, I'm too busy. I'm like, well, can I help at all? And he's like, all right, just show up at the gym and like copy me. So, I'd show up, just kind of copy him for like a month or two. I was thinking, oh, this guy might hate me, whatever. But then he hit me with a text like, hey, I'm going to Big Bear like tomorrow for a training camp for like 2 weeks, something like that. You want to come with me? And I was just like, oh, fuck yeah, this guy doesn't hate me.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like close to Chuck ever since.
Sheesh. So how long into, I feel like Big Bear is like, if you make it there, you're.
It was the the Fertitta brothers actually had just bought in the UFC, and they were having a Tito Ortiz training camp, and then like Chuck brought me out there. There was a bunch of old UFC stars, like Tito was there. Who else was there? Like Tiki. So for me, I was like young, brand new into fighting, and I'm around, the guys that just bought the UFC, Chuck Liddell. Cool. So I was just like blown away, like, wow, I'm out here training with like the top guys right from the beginning. So but I knew I was good right away. I knew I could make it. It took, I had to refine the skills, of course, but I was a young, cocky kid. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I believed in myself right away. Dude. And I was around other top fighters. I'm like, okay, I can make this happen. So I was just, from the beginning, I believed myself and was dedicated. Everyone else was like, you're crazy, don't do this. And rightfully so, especially there was no money back then. The sport was crazy, but when you're addicted to do something, you can't really stop it.
No. And did you like come up from a fighting background, or is it something that you just enjoy? Like, do you have a bunch of friends or siblings?
I wrestled in high school and college, and I kind of grew up in an area where people just kind of fought a lot in that time period for whatever reason. So I have an older brother too who beat me up a little bit. So I grew up with fighting, just seemed like natural. Getting in fights was kind of someone talks shit, you just fought them. Thankfully, people weren't getting like shot and stuff very much back then in that area.
Yeah. Do you remember the first fight you got into?
My brother first, but I remember one when I was pretty young. A guy, parents were kind of hippie, so I had kind of long hair as a kid. Some guy called me a girl, so I went and fought him. I was pretty damn young, probably like 5 or something, and he was older than me, but.
Oh, I mean, we're talking young.
Maybe like 6 or 7, but I'm like, oh, I can't let this guy talk shit to me.
No, hell no, especially not about your hair.
Right.
If you could redo one fight in your career, what would it be?
I guess GSP, because that was just so much on the line. He's one of the greatest of all times. It was a close fight. I'm not saying I'd beat him a second time, but it's like when you have a fight that close, you're like, if I had pushed a little harder in the beginning, because I think, the judges gave me the last 2 rounds, him the first 3 rounds. So it's like, hey, what if I would have pushed a little harder a little earlier? And it's like, who knows what happened? I'm not saying it would change it, but like,
that would be
give an opportunity, that would be the one I would take. That's just like such a massive, like 60,000 people there live. He's one of the greats.
You defeated Okami and Condit on the same night. What was it like doing 2 back-to-back fights?
It was really tough because I had like a war with Yushin Okami. I remember Condit had like, I forget who he fought, but he tapped someone out like super quick or knocked him out. I can't remember which. He had like a minute fight. So I had a rough fight and went out there, and Condit was, he actually wasn't a big star yet. There was some other big guys at the time on the card, but he was kind of the young breakout guy. But he was a killer. So it was like, I dominated the fight, but he was just like tough, kept coming. He was, he split my head open when I took him down off. He's the only guy that ever split my head open with those like downward elbows on guard. Yeah. Like he was just, he was a young, tough kid, just came at it and just coming at me the whole time. So I dominated the fight, but afterwards I was just, 2 fights in one night. I was exhausted.
Did you ever do a back-to-back fight night ever again?
Nah, just that one. I remember all my friends afterwards were all like excited, let's go party. And I'm just like, shit, I have to go party.
I can't believe that was ever a thing. Like I remember Rampage finding out that he fought, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher it, but it was like 3 people in one night. I'm like, how do you guys?
Yeah, no, they used to have some with 3, which is insane. Because that was actually a tournament, it was actually an 8-man tournament, but we did the first round a couple months before. So thankfully they didn't do all 3 in one night.
What's your dream fight for yourself that never happened?
I wanted to fight Anderson Silva because he's just one of the legends too. You know, GSP Anderson Silva are the guys I wanted to fight because I wanted to fight the best. And actually, I was supposed to fight him, Rumble the Rock, we were just talking about. He fought Yushin Okami, and they were in a tough fight. And then Anderson Silva got disqualified in that fight. So he did like an illegal kick. So Yushin Okami actually won that fight off like an illegal kick. So I was supposed to fight Anderson that fight. So that would have been an opportunity right there. But he was the guy I always wanted to fight. I think he's amazing. I think stylistically it's a good fight for me though, because grappler, if I put him on his back, obviously it's an extremely tough fight. But I think stylistically I'm one of the guys that give him a tough matchup, being such a good wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy.
And a notch to have on your belt is like.
No, that's the one fight, and it was supposed to happen. That the fights we were just talking about.
Who do you feel hit the hardest out of everyone you fought?
I fought a lot of the power punchers, the Woodleys and stuff, but I guess I'd have to say Henderson because he dropped me twice. I won that fight, but I remember just waking up on the ground. Thankfully, I was just, at that time in my career, I was so determined, so I just was like, keep moving. But remember, he just came and just floored me with that big overhand right, and then hit me with like the uppercut. So the first round got just floored twice, and then came back and dominated the rest of the fight.
If you put Prime Jake in the UFCs today, how do you think he does?
I still think I do really well. I mean, people will say, oh, you look fast, but I think, I still train with a lot of these top guys and still think, the sports may have evolved a little bit, but not like that much. There's like small changes, like guys throwing more calf kicks. And there was an insane innovation between like 93, the first one, to like 2003. That 10 years was insane. And then, the next 3 years, 2003 to 13 was still big, but slowed down quite a bit. And now I think the changes, there's still small changes, of course, but there's not like massive changes like there was.
Yeah,
So
the evolution of the fighter itself, you're right, the massive changes, but now it's like everybody has that, like MMA is its own art that, how do you refine?
And obviously if I was training now Prime, I would make some little adaptations, make the small changes people are doing different now, because there are a few things people are doing different, but like if I'm allowed to have that knowledge, I could easily like change it over, see the little. Because when I was fighting, like one example is no one threw calf kicks. It's like not the biggest thing, but just for whatever reason, no one threw them. Now it's like one of the biggest. So you have to readapt, coming in and jabbing. You have to make some small changes there.
And you feel like those are adjustments that you'd be able to handle.
Oh yeah, there's no like adjustments I see that wouldn't be pretty easy to make. I think actually some of the grappling might have gone down a little bit. That's why you see guys like Marav and Islam so dominant because their jiu-jitsu is so good. I think the UFC so heavily pushes striking that sometimes guys don't properly develop their like jiu-jitsu and wrestling skills. So you get guys just trying to trade punches. So sometimes their weakness is take them down, which was my specialty. So I think in some sense, I think I would do really good today just because a lot of these guys aren't as good at grapplers. That's why Islam's so dominant, Khabib's so dominant, because these are the elite grapplers, because most of the guys, they don't focus on so much grappling because they're so heavily pushed to strike.